Andy Main is our starter. Russell Mount at the other end.
Oh, wow, a lot of hopping and cracking and jumping, and not sure whether Dennis put the brakes on, but that right rear wheel came to a sliding stop, and Ed, what a way to start off this session of Indy Super Pulling.
Evidently something locked up inside. Once again, would like to announce to you, ladies and gentlemen, that our track officials, our competition director and the NTPA, Andy Main.
Are satisfied at the sled setting after Neil makes his run. Neil will not have the option to come back because he's really the second puller in line. Neil Freeze, there he goes. He calls it Color Me Gone. The Big Allison, 1,710 cubic inches. And right over there close to that left side of the track. And I'm sure he wishes he could do that again. As he came out of the hole, he went over to the right side of the track and really had to hit the brakes, come back towards the left side, and then had to shut it down as he got close to the white lines. A tough break for Neil Freeze. Interesting now to see whether they'll take and change a sled or leave it set as is. I'm thinking maybe they would want to leave it set as is because the next guy's coming out the hook, the Banner brothers, awful strong, and any of these guys are strong enough that if they can get a straight run down the track, they can take it out the end. Let's give him a good hand as he lays the arena. Neil Freeze. Good hit for Neil Freeze.
As they say, Les, he will be back. He will drop 6 places. Neil Freeze will be back.
Okay, there was just on the rerun. We could see as he came down the track on the rerun on the TV screen. He went off to the right side of the track, then back towards the left, had to shut it down instead of going out of bounds. Up in the class, and that's the idea, to try and get the horsepower to the ground. Dave Banner looks out, he sees a green flag starting to bring up the jumping and a hopping. Don't know if he made it across the full pull mark, but Ed, you can see that front end was high in the air. Got the hopping and jumping. He did have to back out of it. What a job of driving that Dave Banner did. No doubt about it. Just fantastic.
Right now, we will watch for the laser beam. As soon as you see that green light come on, we're going to have the distance up there in just a moment. I'll tell you, he jumped on it. We talked to Dave after the pole.
Here it is on the rerun, Ed. Look at that front end way in the air hopping, and really took a hard hop and a jump down there at the end, and he may have still gotten it out the end. And there it is on the screen. Full pull for the Banner brothers. You can see full pull for Dave Banner and the Orange Machine. And you know, Ed, the same thing happened the first time down the track in the 9 modified on Thursday night. Remember, come over towards good straight run down the track is what these guys are looking for, because every time they have to hit the brake to try and keep it towards the center of the track or back out of it in a forward motion. There he goes, EJ down, going on. Get it out the end. Good run for Elton Towns, but not quite enough to get it out there to that 234-foot mark.
Deck. Johnny Graves will be on deck, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Graves on deck of the Graves and Sons team from Arab, Alabama. In the hall, Norm Smith driving for the J&H team.
Here it is, Ed, on the replay. The Sassy Massey team coming up on the replay. We'll be able to see it again. Out of the hole, does a nice job of bringing it out nice and smooth, starts to turn the tires, really decks it, and not quite picking that front end, I believe, the way he would like. He's out about the 75-foot mark, and then starts to pick, and you can see the way it was hopping and jumping. As the Canadian run, he was really fighting it to try and get it towards the center of that track.
And last, we must point out, it's the tractor and the driver that can weigh no more than 7,000 pounds. They're pulling much more than that, probably 7 times that amount.
the Lick Eliminator, voted the #1 sled back a couple years ago by the competitors themselves. An extremely good sled. In fact, all the sleds being used here at the Super Pull are those sleds that are definitely the best sleds in the country. In fact, the two here have been voted the Sled of the Year in the past couple years by the competitors themselves. Waiting for the final roll and pack of the track, and they will scrape and roll the track between each competitor. They want to try and make it as fair as possible. These guys get their pulling position by the luck of the draw. They get a number, a little ball out of a ball machine. Low number pulls first, high number pulls last. So position of pulling is all by the luck of the draw. And we have at different times we've seen the track change. Sometimes it get better, sometimes it get worse. They do try and work it as evenly as possible for each competitor. Green flag is out for Johnny Graves out of Arab, Alabama, the homemade Allison machine. He really lights it up. He's got a good shot at it going down towards the left side of the track. Running moves in the air, digging and chewing up past the 150-foot mark. And good run. He had a well-weighted, did a good job of driving. You were watching his foot on the brake pedals, not hitting the brake very little as he came down the track.
And also, Les, just a good-looking tractor. Nice round of applause, would you, for Johnny Graves from Arab, Alabama.
Our next competitor, and here, let's take a look at the rerun as a green flag comes out for Johnny Graves. You'll notice the sled pan straightened up just a little as he hits the throttle, lifting that left front tire off the ground, but he started towards the left side of the track, and that's when he hit the brake and came back towards the center. Well weighted as he's spinning out with his front end just barely bouncing off the track.
Big one coming up. Johnny Shaw on deck and Marty Klaus. But we may see Dennis Christensen.
Across the full pull mark, and what a run for John Shaw driving the triple Aries powered machine. John Shaw and Norm Smith team up on these machines. Interesting enough, on Thursday night, and remember we had Banners in first place, John Shaw and Norm Smith in second, Banners in third, and Shaw's in the fourth place. So these guys are really tough in all the 7, 9, and 12,000 pound classes. And there it is on the monitors. It's official, full pull for John Shaw and Norm Smith with a triple Aries powered machine.
So that means, Les, in this very popular 7,000 modified competition, that there will be a pull-off. One super run. Here we go. Here's the instant replay on the screen now. John Shaw.
You can see Eddie really went over towards the left side of the track all the way up and just snakes it right out the end. A great job of driving, because had he backed out of it, if he'd have backed out of it or hit the brakes any harder, Eddie has his eye on the green flag as he starts to another big 50-foot mark. It seemed to have a well-weighted, just not being able to get those tires locked in. But you got to remember, you see where the box is on the Lick Eliminator, the box all the way up on the pan right now, and it is really coming on them, really slowing them down as these guys are turning a terrific amount of horsepower. Probably in the 7,000 pound class, you'd have to say that they're turning as much wheel speed as any class there is, because this will be the class where they'll get the 3, 4, and 5 engines on these machines. Here's the rerun. You can see he comes out hard, gets out to about the 75-foot mark before he really starts to pick that front end. But he's really fighting the left side of the track, and they really hurt the forward motion of his pull. You can see turning to the left, pushing that right brake, trying to pull it back towards the center of the track. Like to be. And we can see really fighting that left side of the line as he went down. And at one point there, it almost seemed like he backed out of it just a little to try and get a better handle on, better control of the machine to get it away from the left. We've seen California really well satisfied with that run, Ed. That'll put him right up in the top standings. 2:13 and 4 is the number 3 position, and 174 feet 5 is the 4th position. So it looks like Manuel would move up into number 4 on the standings right now.
And he calls her Les the Nightmare, and we'll watch for the instant replay to come up. But an excellent run for Manuel Alvarez all the way into the Indy Super number 12 from California. Here's that instant replay. Brings her right down the track, veering a little bit to the left. May have lost a little bit of footage. 206 feet and 3 inches for Manuel.
Build these machines. Likes to stay with the cast iron Chevy block. Saw Norman driving for John Shaw the other night. Again, it looks like we're going to have to wait for the laser to read it out, but it looks like the Banner brothers may have the second tractor into the pull-off. Keep your eye on the TV screens at the end. Watch for that distance or full pull to come up, whatever it may be, as the laser machine will read it out.
Big Ben Blue, and what a tremendous run. Reared it up. Russell Mountain says, yes, he has made a full run. There it is. And number 2, Big Ben Blue and Big Ben Orange now have made the full run. Here's the instant replay, front end up in the air, but hangs it in there just excellent, Les. And brings that thing right down across the 234-foot mark. One great piece of driving for Norm Smith of Bensonia, Ohio. So now there will be 3 in the pull-up.
They'll take up the slack in the chain. You'll notice as they drop the hook on these machines, the big chain off the sled, they also hook up what they call a little kill switch. And then the tractor would break away from the sled, would automatically kill the engine. There he goes. Whoa, and he really blows the Charger on that back engine. You can see he really had a lot of fire and pieces coming out of that back engine as it cracked and jumped.
Now, this will be good to watch on the video, as we can see, Les. Just blew that thing right out of there at the end of the run.
Yeah, itself, it detonated, Ed, no doubt about it, and flipped the back Charger. In fact, they have the straps that retain these things, and also in that particular case, it looks like the fuel lines and the injector lines help to hold them from kicking any further out on the front.
187 feet and 7 inches for Ken Rice. 187 and 7.
Here it is, Ed, on the replay as we watch him as he comes down the track. He passes the 7,500-foot mark, starts off towards the left side of the track, and right about as he's spinning out, right there, it pops off.
Really blows.
And you can see just as the front end was setting down, the tires may have left him just turn real hard. His RPMs went high in the air, and itself detonated itself.
Interesting to note, perhaps, Les, did it blow at the end, or did it cause him to stop? I don't know.
Interesting. You'd have to watch the front tires on another rerun to see if the front tires settled down before.
Yeah, maybe we can get the boys to do another rerun.
He'd have to be well satisfied with that run. You can tell he picked the front end up. But something interesting, we noticed when the Banner brothers, when they had picked the front end up, and when John Shaw picked the front end up, they carried it all the way. Where on Manuel's run, he left it come down just a little bit. Now coming down, you'd think would have helped to lock his tires into the track and get him set.
Ladies and gentlemen, your driver, Rick Dioletti from the Mountain View team, Turlock, California. Well, watch, there it is as it rolls out. 194.1. We invite you to look at the monitors at each end of the track above the doors. 194 and 1.
Now he picked the front end.
And a good piece of running.
There he goes, Ronnie Reed. he may have moved right up there in the standings. It looks like he's a little short of that 234-foot mark, but a good run. He could be in the number 3 position right now, 4th position, 3 of them out the end. We'll have to wait and see. 213 feet, 4 inches is the 4th place right now. All the rest of the guys are out the end. We'll have to see how close
But my Les, does he get a lot done. Here we go in the instant replay now. Ronnie Reed, Longford, Kansas, 2 hot running Irish engines. Look at this last super piece of driving.
As you can see, as he came out of the hole and went towards the left side of the track, he really had to be on the brakes and then came back towards the right side. That definitely hurt the forward motion on that pull. At a harvesting, that it is tough to make these events. But Carl's done a great job, and he's never got the kind of performance here at the Super Pull that he's had many places on the Grand National Regional circuits. We've seen him in the winner's circle many, many times. But here he's really thirsty. He's really thirsty for that winner's circle here in Indy. And he thinks he psychs himself out. He said he may be psyching himself out next time. Good run. He carried the front end just about all the way down the track. I'm sure he'd like to stretch out a little bit further, but you definitely have to say good run. Good run for Carl Sneller.
Well, we talk about Les and being the sport of the American farmer.
Well, if he farms 4,000 acres, here's a guy that spends a lot of time in a tractor seat. Here, take a look at the rerun.
Here we go, instant replay. Carl Sneller, Holyoke, Colorado. And as Les said, he's been wanting to win, but it will not be at Indy Super 12 in this particular class.
Well, as we can see, he came out and went towards the right side and then back towards the left side of the track. And whenever they go from side... for Wayne Ross. He has to be well satisfied with that. That puts him very high in the standings, getting up there past that 200-foot mark.
Wayne Ross, one of the very popular drivers in the East, as Les would certainly tell you. Les does a lot of the pulls in the Eastern U.S. Wayne Ross, 3 hot running road acts. Here we go on the instant replay now. Les brings her out. Good fighting.
Again, we were talking about those butterflies on the injectors. They were open at about 25 to 30 feet. They were all the way open. He had her flat out. And yeah, that's a good run. He came right down just about the center of the track.
2:06 and 10 for Wayne Ross. Good run. Here we go.
There he is, Johnny Gray. Their second entry. He's going hard. Front end in the air. Does a real high wheel stand as he goes towards the left side of the track. And digging and a hopping and a jumping. And it's interesting to note as they put it in reverse to back up on the hook of that chain, you see that light coming on. It's a new safety item added to the NTPA rules. All the tractors and trucks must have a light in back now to show when it's in neutral.
He calls her Les the Dixie Flyer, and here's the Dixie Flyer now on instant replay, coming right at us.
He had to fight it right out of the hole. Went towards the right side.
Had to hit that right brake. Now he's way up in the air, Les, losing footage there for the second.
Went to the right and then back to the left. Dig in and look at the replay. What, about 75, 80% of the tractors have done the same thing. They come out, went to the right. Now 234 feet is what he has to pass. He needs a full pull to stay in a competition. Let's cheer him on. John Allen out of Rockford, Ohio. He's going hard for it. Making it into the full category. We're going to have to wait for it to be official. But Ed, you can definitely see the job of driving that he did.
You said it, Les. One great piece of driving, getting every ounce of power out of that machine, and he knew that it would take exactly that. With the drivers that are in front of him, the Banner brothers, both are out the end. And of course, Johnny Shaw from Boltonham, New York, the green light is up on the laser beam. We'll see what they place up. There it is.
Full pull for John Howman. Great run. Take a look at it on the instant replay. He comes out of the right side of the track, starts going over to the left side, but see how fast he pulled it out, Ed. And then he left it go because he knew if he braked too hard that he would have a tough time keeping that momentum up.
And Russell Mount waving that flag, and you can tell from the inner cubic inch, Indy.
Neil Freed doing the drive on the El Toro Bull. Double altitude kick. Fuel injection on both engines. Bullhorn really turning the car. He has a shot at it up past the 200-foot mark. Running here, hopping and a jumping, throwing the dirt. And Ed, quite a display of horsepower there. They do campaign this tractor in the 7, 9, and 12,000 pound classes. And I believe this was the first tractor with the twin Allisons ever to get into the 7,000 pound class. In fact, it's that close on weight. They do not have the weights on this tractor at all right now. Ralph Schindler, I don't know if you know Ralph, the owner of this tractor. Ralph's pretty chunky. He's known as the gourmet chef, the barbecue chef of the circuit. He could not qualify this tractor for the 7,000 pound class. He was too heavy. Neil had to jump into the driver's seat. Neil,
and it is, indeed it is, as we've said a number of times, it is the driver and his tractor cannot weigh more than 7,000. So Neil Freed had to crawl in the seat.
You can see Ralph down there. Ralph's a big guy. You can see why he could not get this tractor into the 7,200 pounds
Oh, them
weight.
big old boys.
I mean, this guy's big.
That's all right, Ralph.
This is the kind of guy at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're walking
Here
down
we
the
go.
street. Okay, rerun.
Instant replay. 206 feet 10 inches. Let's see how he does it. All this massive horsepower coming at it. He just took it right on down, buddy. You can't really fault that run too much.
The jumping, job of driving. For my, looking at all three of the owners, the two banners, you have to look at banners having a double shot at it with two tractors, and they'd have just a slip with one of them. But all three, Charles, Alvin, and Banner. About a good run for Dave Banner, and I don't know, Ed, that is going to be a tough one to beat. Look, you see that weight box is all the way forward, and we saw as we were waiting before the pull-off started, they were really throwing the weight into that box.
Just a whale of a run, ladies and gentlemen, for Dave Banner. Here it is now in the instant replay. Coming out, even bounced a little bit at the start. Now he levels her up, brings her up. To that left side. He's going to keep it right there, Les, and I think you're right. Good figure to have to beat. Here it is, 2:21 and 2 in the pull-off competition. 2:21 and 2 for Dave Banner, Banner Brothers with Big Ben Orange. Wrangler work clothes, you can't beat them. Now, that sets the stage for our second guy to make a full run, Johnny Shaw, Fultonham, New York. Terribly powerful tractor. He knows now that the stage has been Fultonham, New York, waiting for the green flag at Indy Super number 12, the richest event ever in tractor pulling.
Chain is tight, 221 feet, 2 inches. He's awful close to that 234-foot mark. We definitely have a new leader here in the pull-off of the 7,000-pound modified class. And Eddie, I think he's still short, though, of that 234-foot mark. I don't believe he got it out yet.
Well, we want to watch this one on the instant replay, lads, because you talk about nailing the track. What a great piece of driving by John Shaw of Fultonham, New York. And bringing in now, Old Red.
There it is. It's on the board. Full pull for John Shaw. Let's hear it for him.
Instant replay, lads. Coming straight down that track. Has that front end balance just right. Look at this now. You talk about having it all together. There you are. A double full run. You don't see that very often in a pull-off with a guy. Smith, minutes ago, was helping John Shaw. And now he's in the saddle for the Banner brothers. He drives for the Banners as well. Here he goes.
And not enough enough today to get the Banner brothers into the championship win here at the Indy Super Pull in the 7 modified, but no doubt about it, both Big Ben Orange and Big Ben Blue laying down 2 real successful runs. Let's give him a good hand as he leaves the arena. Norm Smith for the Banner brothers. Here it is on the rerun. As you can see, picks the front end up coming down the right side of the track, now starts to back towards the center, never leaving that front end touch the ground. Now that may have been good, may have been bad. And not remember, when that front end stays high in the air, the drawbar in the back is definitely not giving the downpull they would like. But it was so close that there was probably not. Green flag is out, chain is tight. To get it out the end, so John Shaw is the winner of the 7,000-pound modified class. John Shaw, the winner. We're going to have to wait for the distance. And the way it stands right now, Banner Brothers Big Ben Orange setting at 221 and 2, and the Big Ben Blue at 198 and 9. Let's give John Howman a good hand as he lays the arena. We'll definitely need John Shaw and Dave Banner to track.
Here we go, Les, on the instant replay with John Hyman. Just an excellent run, no doubt about it. Tractor running absolutely beautiful. Takes it right down. 205 feet 10 inches, 205 and 10. We're seen in the hole. Here we go. Henry Piper. Holland Harvester, they call it. He is your test driver as he takes her down the track and right at about the 200-foot mark, and that will be it for Henry Piper as we get the 5,000 Super Stock competition underway. Braybeck brothers have done extreme.
Over there, okay, over there they are. He's a great guy. I mean, this guy, Henry, can win, lose, draw, no matter what it is. Always has a smile on his face. You walk into the pit area, he always has a smile and a handshake.
There he is on the rerun. Henry Piper at 194 feet 7 inches. You can tell he's been there many times. Brings the right state down the track and a good steady run. Henry Piper is your test driver. He may come back. JJ, what do you say? We're going to roll? All right.
Here he goes, green flag. Dennis Brabeck. The Alex Chalmers. The 8050, the new series numbers, front end high in the air as he comes bobbing out. He's jumping and hopping. I'm sure. Oh, bad last break for him. And I'm sure he didn't like to see that front end that high in the air.
No.
Because when that was coming down, it was really putting the strain on his tractor.
Would appear to be a rear end problem.
Break for Dennis Brabeck. And you can see the disappointment on his face, Ed. He is not happy with that at all, as he should be, because the chance he has of being number 1 in his class is very high.
Yeah, you just don't see Dennis and crew with those kind of problems.
The 8050, the new series.
Rarely. Beautiful tractor.
Take a look at the machine. It's always that way.
Here it comes now on the instant read. No. Boom. Oh, he gets past 100. That smoke tube, you just could not stand it in here, believe me. Here we go. Watch him run now. Arlo Dreesen with his white 70. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Good looking run. Oh, good strong tractor. Tractor to be in this class. We're going to roll it. We are officially underway. Arlo Dreesen. That means we've got Jim Acton. Jim Acton, I-8 666 is on deck. E.C. Long from Missouri. Someone needs to tell me how we pronounce that town from Missouri. Bavaria? Tell me if that's right or wrong. Here we go. Instant replay. 219 feet 1 inch for Arlo Dreesen. Good. And right now he is taking the lead in this class. Good looking run. Big track to be in this class. We're going to roll. 219 feet bring up P.C. Long from out of Missouri with his IH 460, and then the Parker brothers with John Parker in the hole from Castalia, Ohio. This has been a class over the years. It's been very popular for Oliver tractors. Talked with DeLynn Cale earlier today. They'll not be in with their tractor, but goodness knows they have been here years past. Here we come now with the instant replay on Jimmy Hackett from Lynn, Indiana. You can see now perhaps a little too light on the front end. It may have cost him some footage in this particular run. Settlers are down. That'll be it for Jimmy. He's in the saddle. He could be riding downhill all the way. You bet. P.C. Long. Calder, the mayor's toy. Number 2. Oh, check this out, lads. Check this out. P.C. knows what he's doing. A little fire there at the end. P.C. calls that show business, that fire that he pops out there at the end. He just does that for a little bit of a show, Les. There it is again, see? And some more. Ooh. Blue flame. Has to be hot. P.C. Long leaves the arena. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Good run. Well of a good run. All right. Appreciate that. The guys appreciate the applause. We have now P.C. Long, Johnny Parker brothers. The mayor's on deck. Number 2. Oh, check out that distance, Jim. P.C. Long. P.C. knows second place. 2:11 and 10. 211. JJ, we're set. Oliver, ready to run. Johnny Parker, Castalia, Ohio. This is far north central Ohio. Good farming country up in this part of the state. Good vegetable country, too.
Front end really coming up as he comes out of the hole, comes to the left side of the track. He's awful close over here, but keeps it on the side of the white line. Oh, looking good. He's good for it down to the 234-foot mark, and it just may be.
Oh, wow. Run. A little squirrely at the end there. Les will pick that up with the instant replay.
Great job at driving. He came over here. He did not panic. He came over towards the right side of the track. He did not panic at all. Just stayed right with it.
Kept her going.
Kept on going.
Good brake system, but if he would have straightened that thing out, he might have been out the end.
226 and 2. 226 and 2 for Parker brothers. John Parker in the seat out of Castalia.
That moves him into first place. Here it is, instant replay. Johnny Parker, good old Buckeye. Here, right awfully close to the out of bound line, but like you said, Les, didn't panic, brought it to the right. Now watch it, gets real squirrely right here at the end. Whoa.
Interesting enough, did you watch him in his replay? He was watching the flag run Rickman. He had his eye on children and grandchildren. Yeah, quite a competitor. Fuel injected. This is a fuel injected International 460. Develops a lot of horsepower. Henry does the work on it himself. Enjoys doing the traveling.
And he's in good shape too. Great shape. Henry Piper. Watch him run. They call him the granddaddy of tractor pulling. Holland Harvester.
Oh, he's looking good. He's got the front in the air right down around the 200-foot mark. I wonder if he may have wanted another weight up on the front. But a great job by Henry Piper with the International, I think that's a 560, isn't it? As he looked on it, right. International 560. Those 460s and 560s are tough to tell apart. Let's give him a good hand as he lays the Coliseum. Henry Piper, the International 560. Great competitor. Here we see the instant replay. Ed comes out and just starts the tires turning very smooth and gets on it pretty hard out of the hole, front end hopping and jumping. He went over towards the left side of the track, but then got it straightened out and carries that front end, not letting the front end touch the ground, just about all the way through the run. Good run for Henry Piper.
206 and 7. And at this point, good enough. Last 12 years, we have seen the expense of being involved in this sport grow and grow and grow. And we have some guys who used to be great competitors who said, hey, we just economically can't keep up. And so they decide to become spectators. You can expect that.
There he goes, Dave Chrisman, Edinburgh, Indiana, great competitor. He's one of the guys from the ACs that can get it out there. AC fans cheer him on as he brings it out of the hole. Having just a little bit of trouble getting it locked in, backing out of the throttle, but then staying with it, front end high in the air, hopping and bouncing, and I'm sure that Dave is not as satisfied with that run as he would like to be.
I'm
See, he
sure.
came out, he got in the air. One time there, it looked like he may have backed out of the throttle just a little bit to try and set those tires, get that front end back down. But disappointing run for him, but we've seen him many times right up there on top. He's been a past champion.
Well, you bet, Les. And the track may have fooled him here a little bit. We're going to watch this on the instant replay here in a couple of moments. But I think you're right, Les. He may have backed off a little bit. I think he thought he could put it right to it. Now, here we go. Right there. It jumped on him, and he got it settled down, and here we go. Swings off to that left, has to hit that brake, and now really costing footage there.
Hey, that seemed to be the key secret right there. When he hit the brake and started coming back towards the center, that seemed to be the key thing that lost that the excitement of the early Super Pulls. And there was a guy that made a lot of excitement. Here we go to the starting end of the track. Another Atlas Challenge machine. Arnold Baker out of Milton.
All right, let's watch him ride.
AC-180, he's one of the guys that can do it. Watch him. He's going hard, going towards the left side with the tricky.
He broke up.
He shot a lot of pieces out of the bottom.
Right out of the bottom. You can see it.
No oil coming out.
No, right there, but that jacket, Les.
May have been possibly, could have been turbocharger parts. I'm not sure if the engine's still running or not.
I think you might be right.
We'll have to look on the, I don't know if we can catch it on the instant replay or not exactly when it
Calls are tricky business. Brought her down about the 135, 140 foot mark, about 130 feet. And all at once, Arnold Baker, all the way in from Kansas. He's looking at it. He can't quite figure out either.
Arnold Baker.
He doesn't seem to. Here we go. Instant replay. Brings it out. Has the tire speed that he's after, Les.
Good run on him.
Had to hit the brake here.
Right there.
Broke up.
You can actually see a lot of pieces coming out the bottom.
But interesting also that the very moment he had to hit the brake the hardest is also when he broke.
Well, that would be when it would really start to work the engine, because you got to remember, we talked about hitting the brake kills their horsepower.
Well, I've seen them air-cooled sometimes in years past, Les. It'd be just a big old hole right in the side. I mean, really air-cooled.
Green flag is out. Here he goes, the air-cooled Deutsch machine. Throwing out hard, really turning the tires, not picking the front end the way he would like to. Having trouble getting it locked in, hitting the brakes. Now high in the air, really high in the air as he goes down the track, spinning and chewing. He's out there right around the 200-foot mark. Not enough to move up into number one, but you have to be well satisfied with that run.
Sounds like those semis came back that were here last night. You hear that? Somebody driving those around out in the corridor. Again, and the boys didn't hear this announcement last, the Shakamak FFA. Shakamak FFA, section number 6, 56 of those young people. Welcome to Indy Super number 12. Great to have you here.
Shakamak.
Shakamak. Is that right, Shakamak? Okay, good.
Close enough.
Must be a good old Indian name.
High in the air.
Or whatever.
High in the air as he goes down the track.
Here we go. 2, 10, and 3. 2, 10, and 3. Bert Stopper.
See there, watch the replay. Front end in the air. Started the pull, couldn't get the front end up. Getting up over 1,000 horsepower. That's difficult on these super stock tractors. They're running the turbochargers on them, the exhaust-driven turbochargers. And of course, on any engine, even your car, truck at home, the more air you can get into that engine, the more fuel you can put in. The more fuel you get in there, the more horsepower you get back out. And that's the name of the game on these things, to get the air in there. The more air you can get in, the more fuel you can put in. But the higher you go in the air pressure, the more fuel you go, the more fine-tuned it has to be to perform. And right now, Terry Wood, the Alice Chalmers engineer, going front end way in the air. He's really having a rough ride using his brakes. Front end high in the air, but keeping it and carrying it, and he's really down in there. High in the air.
Hey, let's hear it for Terry Wood. Oh, my. I tell you, Les, you talk about a bronc in the saddle.
You can see the expression on his face at about the 100-foot mark. He was really concerned with the height of the machine.
He said, this is serious business. I better hang on.
And it never really really did settle down for him. I think he's wishing he would have had some more weight on front. But now you look at the back, you can see there is no weight on the back of the machine to hang out on the front. So he had it all from front to start with. Let's give him a good hand. Terry Wood out of Mountain City, Indiana.
Here he comes. This is replay now. 197 feet 7 inches. Let's watch it. I mean, he was wrestling this thing, Les, all the way down the track. Here it really gets squirrely. You can see on his face, boy. Just hang on. He said, I'm glad to be done. Here for Terry Wood. Hey, I just wonder. We've said that they work on these 7 and 7, and let me repeat that the leader in this class is Johnny Parker with an Oliver from Castilia.
These guys have been here 12 years. This is one of the teams that's been here all 12 years competing at the Indy Super Pull.
Never missed a one.
Never missed a one. And I think they, I'm not sure, at least they had one 88 Oliver here all 12 years. I think the other one might have been a WDAC 45.
All right, we're all set, Les. Dennis Lucas, and this is Pete from Seymour, Indiana. Oh, hang on to her. Dennis, looking good. Oh, lost the tire speed. Lost that tire speed at about the 150-foot mark, and he settles her right down. So Dennis Lucas with his Oliver 88, and that'll bring up Harold Bolin with repeat. This is the team of Bolin and Lucas, and in the hole is Ivan Carroll, the Carroll family team from Clarence, Missouri. And they'll be followed by David and Jane Marino. And don't forget our final class this afternoon, the two-wheel drive pickup truck. Here we go, instant replay. Now watch, Les, he does a good job, but he loses tire speed at about the 150-foot. Ooh, right there. Lost the tire, went away.
These guys,
he is raring to go, Harold Bolin. And let's bring on repeat. We just had Pete. Why not?
Ed still having these problems down there on the starting line. Not sure what the problem is, but he's really working on to try and coax it out. And just checking to make sure the chain is hooked. JJ has the green flag out for him. These you can see clean burning. These are not diesel. This is a gasser, LP gasser. He's going hard on repeat. Now he's looking good. He's got it locked in. You can see a little clutch slippage there, but not much. He's going hard for it. He may be able to put the Oliver in the top 3. He's going for the number 1 spot. Good run for Harold Bolin. Wow.
Hey, now what are you talking about, them old Olivers? Huh? Where's my Oliver buddy up here? He's got to be all excited. Have him stand up one more time. Yes, sir. Right there. One more time. Boy, I mean, he's turned on. I love it.
Interesting now. Almost assume. There it is. 2:27. We have a new leader. Harold Bolin's moving in that number 1 position. But not only that, that puts Oliver in the top 3 positions. Oliver in the top 3.
Have him stand up one more time. Oliver, top 3.
There he goes on the rerun. You can see having a little bit of trouble getting out of the hole and getting going, but doing an excellent job. Not breaking the tires loose at all, but you can see the hopping and jumping on the track. That means the clutch was slipping. Finally got set in and just stays right with it, keeps on digging and chewing it. You can almost see the wheels coming almost to a stop. He had everything really maxed. And that'll put him in the number 1 position.
Oh, Ray Pate.
Excellent run.
Chuck 570. He calls her the levy leaper. Boy, I'm anxious to see this one go. Hang on, all you cockshut fans.
Green flag is out. And you can see him playing with it there, trying to get it going. The levy leaper having a problem getting the RPMs up, but he does stay with it. It comes back to life, but then disappointingly cannot keep it going. And Ed, on the TV screen, you could actually see with his left hand, he was pulling something like a choke. May have been trying to adjust maybe something and trying to adjust the fuel mixture or something of that type, but he was playing with the fuel adjustment with that left hand.
And last one to point out that the cockshut tractors, here we go, instant rerun, manufactured in Canada. And this is the color of paint that they have.
Trying to get it.
Here he comes, looking good at this point. 154 feet 10 inches, and then it just kind of
Disappointing.
moves out on him. So a disappointing run, really, for Ivan Carroll and the Carroll family team in from Missouri. But
It's a cookbook made up by the Pullers Wives, and that's on sale.
let me tell you something. My Maryland says, finest cookbook ever put together. Believe me. Give it a try. Here we go. David Marino. Oh, I'm loving this, Les. Good old D17. Bring her on down. The orange blossom space. Oh, holy smoke. That's just like home.
Is that what yours does when it's hooked to the grinder mixer?
Just like home, boy. Woo-hoo, man. Oh, but a good-looking tractor. My, oh, my.
Ed,
Great mine doesn't look like that.
again, we should say,
Mine's
compliment the sled.
Sled.
The NC Plus hybrid sled. It's old Ironsides, Dave Hager, and for this year, old Ironsides running the engine and propels the sled right back to the starting line, which is a big innovation. Most of the sleds going this way.
All right, 185-2 for David Marino. 185 and 2. Instant replay. Here he comes on down. Oh, holy smoke blue.
Well, there again, as we were watching on Arnold Baker's tractor, when he hit that. And the Outlaws, Jeff Brockman, young guy. Was the 234-foot mark. And Ed, you'd have to say, quite a beautiful run. If you like that, let him in. Jeff Brockman.
And last, Jim Brockman will go into the record books. Isn't that beautiful? You talk about the good old days of the panel truck. There it is. But Jim Brockman will go into the record books of Indy Super in that he was the first driver ever to go down the track with a two-wheel drive truck. First ever.
That was nice. He gave that honor to his son, Jeff.
Jeff was driving. That's right.
Driving.
Good.
Bruce Hutcherson starts to wind it up. Good run for Bruce Hutcherson as he sets the little Dodge down there past the 200-foot mark. And now, Ed, we begin to wonder. Remember, Jeff Brockman down there, way down there, was a little bit further when the sled was a little bit heavier. And it makes you wonder whether Jeff can come back out and equal that run again.
Also makes you wonder, and we might get a chance to talk with Bruce as to whether Bruce would tell you that he was considerably too light on the front. But you will see the two-wheel drive. Here we go. Instant replay. Bruce Hutcherson. A run of 211 feet and 10 inches. Revs are way up. Cylinders are out now. And a good-looking run for the pork producer from southeast Indiana.
Just talking with Dave Stink. 211 feet is the distance to beat.
Hot dogs, apple pie, little baseball, Chevrolet. Here we go.
The Super Rat, Lloyd Hauser, made in North Carolina, strong competitor. He's one of the guys that can set that sled down there past the 234-foot mark. Here he goes, starting to bring it line. That checkered flag, he may have passed that 211-foot mark, and it's awful close. We're going to have to wait for the laser measurement. You can see that red light on up there right now. And after the green light comes on, it takes, what, about 10 seconds, and then we see the distance pop up on the screen.
All right, Les, now.
Chevy fans, let's give him a good hand. Lloyd Hauser.
Lloyd Hauser leaves the arena a distance of 2:12 and 9. He has taken the lead. 2:12 and 9 for Lloyd Hauser. Here he comes, instant replay. This is a good run, right straight down the track, Les. You can't fault that. We may be seeing a class that we're not going to see.
I'm not sure. 212 feet is what he needed. Maybe just a little short of that checkered flag.
I'm wondering, he knows where he was sitting. He carries mail mail with that truck, perhaps.
Carries mail. He was sitting over on the right side.
That's right.
Well, let's say he hauls the mail. He hauls the mail with the L&K, the driller.
That's a good-looking truck, Les. It really is. In from Pennsylvania. Here we go with the instant replay.
Same setting right in the center. Having just a little trouble getting it locked in, but once he locks it in, starts to pick the front end up. And still some bobbing there, though. I'm sure he'd like to stretch it out just a little further. Here it is.
215.
12 feet and 11.
And he takes the lead.
Number one, Chevy now in the first and second place as Chevy. Green flag comes out for Wayne Roush. He starts to bring the little red Dodge up. And not the kind of run that we normally see out of Wayne, but I was watching the butterflies. The clutch was actually slipping there. You can tell the clutch was locking in, then it would start to pull down the RPMs of the engine, start to slip again. As soon as the RPMs of the engine started to go up, the tires would lock in. But he never had those butterflies cracked open here at the 150-foot mark, pouring about, I'd say, 25 to 30% was all the further open he had them. Let's give him a good hand, Wayne Roush.
So a tough way to go for the defending national champ. Here we go, instant replay. And watch the rear tires now, as Les was talking about. And you can see the problems that he was getting into with that clutch. He gets down past the 100-foot mark, and then it really starts catching up with him.
Never opening butterflies. You can see in the injectors there, butterflies never really opening up about a quarter open. That's about it.
We always see him, or I've always seen him.
Fans are cheered for him.
Here we go. Get up and cheer for him.
Starts to bring it out. He may be just a little short of that checkered flag, but a good run for tricky Dick McPherson. Dick McPherson from Circleville, Ohio, the toy trucking machine. That brings us down to three more yet to run in the class. Three more yet to run, and Leo K is the guy sitting on the number one spot right now. Dick McPherson on the rerun, you can see it, the big Chevy emblem tank on the front, hopping and jumping as he comes out of the hole for the first 75 to 100 feet, but then he picks the front end way in the air, and at that point he seems to lose just a little bit of traction, and that's when the NC Plus hybrid sled really put the hurt on him. Good run for Dick McPherson. Here he goes, Jeff. Right down in there. We may have a new leader. We may have a new leader, Ed. Good run for Jeff as he really pours it on. And we have to remember this is the third time he's ran in this class. Two times hooking normally, one time with the lower hitch. We'll have to wait for the distance to come up. He may be your new leader.
There it is, 2:24 and 5, and he has taken the lead.
Here it is.
Listen to this. Here we go, instant replay. We're going to get back to this. Just one dynamite run. And you'd have to say at this point, blow it out more power than anybody else, right straight down the track. But get this, Les. Get this. 3 inches within his first pull. First pull, 200 and... Run for Jim Brockman as he sets the international down there. And I don't know, I don't think he got close to that checkered flag, but let's going to see how high in the standings he can place it. Remember, 224 is number 1, being held by Jeff Brockman. Number 2, Leo K at 2:15 and 11, a Chevy-powered machine. Then Lloyd Hauser to Chevy at 2:12 and 9, and number 4, Bruce Hutcherson at 2:11 and 10. Here we go at 2:13, so Dad moves into third place.
2:13 and 10. 2:13 and 10 for Jim Brockman, moving into the third position. So let's be well satisfied. Right now we're down to one more truck yet to run, and the in-law Outlaws, and Outlaws holding on to first and third position.
Second place.
There it is on the rerun. You see Brian bouncing and hopping, and right there at the end of the run.
Oh, and a real good run for Jim.
Really catches him. The old NC Plus hybrid Dave Hager sled, as we said before. This sled voted sled of the year, too. They're going to be in the top three. The Brockmans and Leo K. You'll make your way up here because you will be in the top three. Mark, and Ed, he has to be real pleased with that run. A good one.
Oh, yes, sir.
Awful close to the checker flag. We're going to have to wait for the distance. He may have moved up into that second or third position. Awful close. We do need the Brockmans and Leo K to come forward for trophy presentations.